Well, welcome back to the Extraordinary Drummer Show. As you know, I'm your host, Cheron Moore. You know, I always say today. Wow, we got the man on the show today. You're talking about pocket. You talking
Uh,
about to play with everybody. Let me just tell you a little bit about him. Of course, you looking at him, you know who he is. I should say, he's a recording drummer. He's a recording artist as well. His credits is just the who's who, and I'm going to talk about a few of these many Ripperton, L.T.D, Sheena Easton, Dave Mason, Willie Dixon, Muddy Water. We got to talk about that. Mighty Joe Young. Later on, we're going to talk about Coco Taylor. He's a producer. He's a songwriter. Most of all, and he's a legend too. I got to tell you. But most of all, he's my
no,
friend.
no, no.
Please help me welcome our guest today, Alvino Bennett. Hey, Alvino.
Hey, Cheron, how are you, man?
I
How
will.
you
Thank
doing?
you. Welcome to the Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. We finally made
Woo! We've been trying, boy.
it. We have been trying for quite a while.
So, you know,
So
so many
yeah.
accolades they have given you over the years. Legend, cold-blooded, class, style.
Oh my
So
God.
much I want to talk to you about
Oh,
in our limited time. But let's start on those credits. What's
okay.
it like? I guess we would have to go brief because we're doing only 30 some odd minutes
Yeah,
here. What was it
yeah,
like
yeah.
working with Minnie Riperton?
It was phenomenal. A quick story. When I finally made it out to rehearsal after missing the first flight, we flew out here to L.A. and I got to rehearsal, and we were rehearsing. I can't remember which songs. One of the songs she did the octaves to, and I had totally forgotten about her doing octaves. And we're just pocketing, grooving, having a great time. And all of a sudden, I thought I heard feedback, and I stopped the song because my monitor's feeding back, and everybody started laughing. I was, why are you laughing? It's like, no, that was Minnie with the high octaves, and I went, oh man, I felt like really crazy. Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me do
yeah,
another credit.
yeah.
Let's talk about Dave Mason. What was that journey like?
Oh man, that was a long one. I think that's like one of the longest ones. That was basically close to 20 years. It was great. I mean, Rock and Roll Hall of Famer guy, uh, working with Traffic, playing all those great songs of Traffic's, playing all the great songs of Dave Mason. It was really a wonderful, wonderful time working with him. Great.
Alvino, talk about L.T.D. I got to tell you, Tony Coleman told me, he said, they used to send y'all home. Y'all was wiping people out of the tour. Y'all was wiping up the stage, boy.
Uh, L.T.D. Uh, one of the great phenomena of my life. My mentor out of the band was Billy Osborne. He's a great, great jazz drummer, great B3 player, great songwriter, arranger, and we would just go on stage and just do what we did.
Alvino, you originally from Chicago?
Yes, I am. Yes, raised there until I was 21 and 22, and that's when I came out to California, Los Angeles.
Tell me
Yeah.
about, let's go way back. Let's go way back. Tell me about over there
Whew.
as a youngster over there at Wim Penn Elementary School. You did that drum and bugle corps stuff?
Yeah. Wow. You know that. I started out about 10, 11 years old at drum and bugle corps. Had no idea about anything. I was at home sick one day, and my auntie Ella, we call it Auntie L, and we lived in the basement right across the alley from the school. And I was sick at home one day, and I was got out of bed because I heard these drums. Pulled myself up to look out the window. She came in the room and said, "Boy, what you doing?" I went, "Auntie, that's what I want to do." She says, "What?" I said, "I want to play the drum. Not drums, but drum." And so she went up to the school, William Penn, and talked to I think it was Mr. Diorson, who was the drum cat there, and talked to him about auditioning me. I got in. I was the youngest cat there auditioning, and here I am today. Thank you, thanks to my auntie, my whole family. for all the support that they've given me this over 50 something years, so probably closer to 60 than 50. But anyway, yeah.
Alvino, take me over to Westinghouse High School. What was the scene like there?
Westinghouse, I was a geek. I was an electronics geek. I helped to build a microwave oven back in those days. I built lamps, televisions, radios. But drums was the thing for me, anytime.
Alvino, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, where do you get your style from and decorating the drums and the jewelry and where?
My mother. You know what? I've always been different. I've always strived to be different. And I think that bugged a lot of people when I was growing up. I remember my cousins used to always call me Sly because, Sly and the Family Stone. And I wore like the big bell bottoms, stripes. I wore the platform shoes. I couldn't play in the platform shoes, so I had to wear moccasins when I played. And just being a hippie, I was a hippie in Chicago with the patchouli oil and the afro, the fringes, all the leather and patchouli to me was like, I can't say the word. It was the stuff back in the day. I loved hanging out on the north side. So just taking the old school way of dressing, and pulling it in today because it's classic. I mean, jeans, a classic thing. T-shirt, classic. Leather, classic. So, boots, cowboy boots, motorcycle boots, hats and caps, skull caps, silver. It's just classic stuff, and I love that. The drum thing came from Buddy Miles. Buddy used to come to Chicago a lot, and I used to see him, and I dug the way how his drums looked. The tom-tom sitting there, and the cymbals up a little bit higher. And I went to one of the drum stores in Chicago. I think it was Frank's or either Drums Unlimited. And I told him about this guy, and I said, I have Roger Simple stands, and I want this piece. And they made this extension, these two extensions, and that's where the cymbals were, why the cymbals were up that high. And they're still up high today. Me being an old man, but they're still up there. So yeah, all that stuff I think goes with it. The look and the sounds and the smells, and it's just part of that classic stuff. Like classic music, you can't get away from it because you have to know where you come from to know where you're going, hopefully, if that makes any sense,
Makes every bit of sense. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that. I've always loved your style. I just sit back and go, oh man, so boring compared to him. But let me say this. Doing a little drum talk. Alvino, what is your approach to the drum kit, and what do you think of what some of the younger generations are doing opposed to maybe our generation?
Woo! Let's see. Well, as I said, it's the classic thing of playing. What was it? Something Tony Coleman told me about. It was something about barbecue. Da 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 da. It's that barbecue thing, and it's a saying. And I just saw it the other day hanging up in my locker. But it's just classic stuff. It's like it's what keeps you working. 2 and 4, 1 and 3, 8th notes, 16th notes. Look at James Gatson, man. Look at Jeff Carl. Look at Steve Ferrone. Look at Charlie Drayton. Look at Steve Jordan. I mean, all these guys. Al Jackson Jr. Howard Grimes. It's just that pocket. They all kept working, and their work we will always remember. All those works we will remember constantly, and we all take from it. So I learned from that. I learned from being around Gaston. I mean, Gaston's turned me on to so many gigs, so many sessions. You know, I mean, that's my drumming thing. I mean, I'm a very quirky drummer. My personality is quirky, I believe. I could be a hot mess also, but uh, as my stepdaughter tells me, or told her mom, she says, you know, I love Alvino, but he's a handful. So, but that's part of who and what I am, you know, in a good, I think in a good way. You know, it's kept me doing what I'm doing. Uh, um, yeah, I mean, I strongly believe in that. Just, you know, as a manager told me when I was a teenager, you know, he says, just remember to kiss the music. I'm going, what are you talking about? Kiss the music. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, so that's been my thing all these years. You know, it's oh man, I got so many to tell you, but I know we
We're
don't
gonna
have
do this again.
enough time. We
Alvino,
have
we got
to,
a thing on the
yeah.
show that we call Word of Advice, where I ask the guests, I ask the drummers if they would leave a word of advice for the up and coming drummers, even the guy at the next level, but that are trying to get traction in this business, in this game. Alvino, would you leave them a word of advice?
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, it's the, you know, the grassroots of it all. You know, I mean, having all the chops in the world is wonderful, it's beautiful, great, all that stuff, but it's not always needed like that. You know, and if you look around, you you will see who's still around and still who's doing it, and it's the guys that just lay it in there. You know, I mean, also it's great to know what you're doing, to be able to be the band guy, if you will, be able to lock with everybody. Something interesting. I remember doing a session one time, quite a few, but this one particular session, the artist came over with the lyrics. And I said, well, what is this? So you can see, and as I'm singing, what the lyrics are. And certain words need certain inflections from the drums. And I thought those were quite interesting, you know, and being an emotional player also. So, you know, if you hear certain words like, you know, the word cry, I mean, that's something that's a little sad. You know, the word fire, I mean, that could be exciting to a certain degree, depending on what the lyric is. You know, and me also being a songwriter, you know, and working with some of the greatest songwriters and vocalists in the world. And so that was quite interesting. So pay attention to the song, play the song. You know, if you can get the lyrics while you're doing the session, and, or you get ready to go out on tour, and if you can play like that, you know, everybody can't play like that. You know, and I'm not saying they can't play like that, but sometimes it's not wanted or needed in that sense. So yeah, but I would just say keep it simple.
Tell me, what was it like working with Alex Dixon on the new album Vintage? What was it called? Vintage Dixon?
Yeah. It was great, man. We did the thing where I was, you know, co-producer and stuff, and it was wonderful. It was great. It was great to see him, to see Alex carrying on what his granddad, you know, has done. You know, playing upright bass, playing piano. The songs were great. We, you know, went back to the old library to pull some of the songs out. We also co-wrote a song together, the band, and it's called 10,000 Miles. And it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed. Yeah.
What endorsements are you doing? Just give me the names for the sake of time.
Gretsch drums, Pisces cymbals, Aquarian drum heads, Vader drumsticks. I'm doing what's the name? Hio microphones, drum microphones, and that's it.
You know, for the sake of time, give me one outstanding moment in your life that you would never forget.
Well, give me a moment to think about that. Hold on. Okay, I got it. And I can't remember whether it was 78 or 79 with L.T.D. And we played the oh man, what's the name of that place? It's a big gigantic, you might know the name of it. It's in New Orleans. The Superdome. In 1978, we played the Superdome. 78 or 79, we played the Superdome. And I think it was 79. And it was with the Commodores, OJs, I think Confunction, P-Funk, and probably one or two other acts. We played, that was 100,000 people, and it was sold out. Of course, that was the largest place I've ever played, and the most people I've ever played to at one time. And that is what made me started playing drums the way I play drums now. You know, because as you were saying earlier, you know how drummers, you know, all that stuff, right? You know, just playing every note that they could get out. And I came in, you know, with like 9 tom-toms or 6, or I can't remember how many toms I had at the time. And I was trying to play all that stuff at the sound check. And the engineer says, ain't none of that going to be heard, and who cares about it? And I looked at him like, I'm your boss. How you going to talk to me like that? But I went away and I didn't say anything, and I thought about it. And I said, he's right. So from that day forward, I started playing just single notes on each tom-tom. And of course, you know, 16th notes or something like that. But I never wanted to do anything flashy, because when you're playing in a place that large, you know, every note has to be felt. When you have a flurry of notes, who's going to feel that? Who's going to, you know what I mean? I mean, Charlie Watts is like the greatest at that. You know, I mean, Al Jackson. And you play that in a place like that, man, you're going to see 100,000 people with their big lighters. Actually, today, their iPhones with the lighter up. Party, party. If somebody's going, where's the downbeat? How do I dance to that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
So that was an extraordinary moment in my life playing that place. The other one that was extraordinary was a song that I wrote in a hotel in 1970 or 71. And I wrote this song in a hotel. It was the name of the song was called Share My Love. And it went on L.T.D's record. It was, which record? It was Devotion. The name of the record is called Devotion. That record back there. And it's called Devotion, on the Devotion record. We played that song there in New Orleans. I cried like a baby because the big lighters are on when we did that song. And the guys in the band turned around and looked at me. You know, it's like, that's your song, baby. And look what people are doing. You know, so that was like, that's the moment for me. Wow. You know, when you got a song and 100,000 people are like at the one time, bam. So that record, that's like a gold record there. So that's 500,000 people. But we played to 100,000 people that particular night that had the big lighters on for that song.
Wow.
You know, so playing at the Superdome and playing the song that you wrote, you know, like almost 10 years ago. It was like 8 years before I got in that band. Never knowing where the song was going to go at that particular time, you know? And it was just amazing. That's the one. Driving around LA, hearing it on the radio is really cool. But when you see people going nuts, like I said, back then it was big lighters. I cried like a baby as I'm playing drums.
Wow.
You
know? Alvino,
the guy. Yeah.
What would you want your legacy to be said, to be told?
Oh, I don't know. I think I would leave that up to the powers that be. You know, that I was basically, I guess, a good guy who wanted to do this, who was always there, you know, giving you more than 100%, you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Always there with, you know, for the band. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let me say thank you so
Yeah.
very much for being on the Extraordinary Drummer Show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. We're gonna come back and do this
Yeah.
again when we have a little more time. I can get you in here for a couple of hours or so to really go through some of
I'm
these
ready.
claims.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Because
I'm
there's so
ready.
many more of them that I didn't mention here.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
Alvino, would you
I'm
help us
ready.
wave goodbye to all the fans?
Peace.